Good morning, Giants. It's another beautiful day. It's bright and early. It's 7 a.m. On my mind this morning is just the chaos that has been created through the media coverage of the coronavirus. Just thinking how people respond to that. What happens when people get afraid, and so I want to kind of speak to that a little bit about what we do with fear and how it can cause us to act in ways that we normally wouldn't. Um, I want to say Philip Zimbardo demonstrated that even good people can turn bad given the right circumstance. And he did that with the prisons or the Stanford prison experiment, where he took just normal, regular college students and put them into groups, assigned them to be police officers and prisoners. And within a week of doing this thing, so just to give you some background on it, he took these kids, he assigned them. The ones that were prisoners, they went and they picked them up in police cars, arrested them at their house, and then took them to this mock prison at the school, where the police officers and the prisoners took on their roles and became those characters. Even though they were good people, the prisoners got dark, got negative, started rebelling and doing things that they normally wouldn't do. The police officers got abusive. They started hurting the prisoners. They're not real, just so we're clear on that. They're not real policemen. They're not real prisoners, but they took on those roles, and it got out of hand. They had to shut down the research because it was getting too violent. They were doing things that were inhumane, and for people to say that they would never do something dark is a lie. Even good people do bad things given the circumstance. We hope that we won't, but it really takes a character check to check in with ourselves and see how we want to be in a situation like what we have going on. Are you going to be selfish? Are you going to do that at the cost of others? Survival's an interesting thing. When we have fear for our lives, we'll do quite a bit to take care of our personal needs to survive. And so check in with that. What character are you taking on during this? Are you so scared that it doesn't matter how it affects others, you've got to survive? Are you looking at how can I be a benefit to others? It doesn't mean you have to give everything away to support others, but can you be a kind and conscious human being during all the fear? Viktor Frankl, when he talks about the camps, the concentration camps, he said the people that survived were those that found purpose. And usually that purpose was serving somebody else in some way. And so I think the way to really curb this or to moderate it at best is to consider others. Take the who out of it. That word of advice: take the who out of the situation. And given the situation, how would you respond to that? I see all the hoarding, the water, the toilet paper, which to me doesn't make any sense right now. Maybe it will when I have to use the bathroom and I'm super thirsty. Maybe it'll make sense. But the idea is that the hoarding is so self-interested that I don't care how this affects you kind of a thing. I need to take care of me kind of a thing. But the reality is that there are people out there that are still needing help, needing love, needing kindness, that we can look after, that we can go out there and have a purpose of serving them in some way. We can take care of our needs. We should take care of our needs. We should also be conscious of others as well. And so this extreme selfishness that comes up in the face of fear, I can't say that I wouldn't do that if I were in a situation where it was my survival or somebody else's. I don't know how I'd respond to that. And so you got to consider that we are capable, all humans are capable of dark things given the right circumstance. And so how will you respond? And so when it comes to fear, just some tools to pay attention to, things that have helped me with fear and anxiety. I've had anxiety for most of my life, and it can be very controlling. And it's emotion that will often show up as anger. So when you notice that you're feeling angry and you're mad, look at that, because it's generally a secondary emotion. It's not a primary emotion. So if you're feeling angry, look at if that's sadness and depression or if that's fear and anxiety. So sometimes it goes back to just really clarifying, where is this coming from? If it's fear and anxiety, the best response that I've seen is by Barry McDonough, and it's the diffuse, the accept, the don't run from it, and re-engage with life. And so we do have to keep going. We have to keep going. Life can't shut down because of this. We'll do our best to prevent, what occurs in our space. But the reality is that life has to go on. And so it'll go on, and it might look a little different, but it will continue. I think of the Great Depression. The whole world was shutting down, and, I think of Hilton, he's out buying hotels. Yeah, the world's shutting down, but I'm going to go buy hotels. And build that up. And he built up an empire during that time when everybody else was shutting down and guarding and protecting. He was expanding. And a lot of successful people, when things get rough, they start to grow. They know that's the growing season, in a sense. So think about that. Are you shutting down? Are you going into your cave? Are you locking up? Are you Fort Knox? Or are you trusting and you getting out there and engaging with life, even though the fear is present? And so just something to consider today is the fear is going to be there, and you can allow it to be there, and it can be a part of your life, and that's okay. But what are you going to do while it's present? How are you going to show up as a human while it's present? Are you going to let it control you? Are you going to let it dictate who you are as a human being? Are you going to let it shift your character to the point that you're so selfish that you won't serve another person? I just posted this morning about a little girl that needs heart repair. I don't know her. There's probably 1 million people that need help right now, and I wonder. This is for me. How selfish do I get when I just think, well, I got to pay this bill today, or, well, I wanted to do this thing, and it's just a consideration of, man, this message for me as well. I need to get out there and maybe do more to help others, and that'll take my mind off any fears that I might have. Basically, get out there and serve. Find purpose in helping and serving others, and that'll curb some of that fear that you have. So, a little different message this morning. Good morning, Lori. Hope that you guys can take that into your world. I know tonight I'll be on a show prior to me going on as a little girl that needs some help financially as she's going through some medical issues with her heart. A good friend of mine, Paul Cardall, had a transplant. He knows what this is like to go through that. But think of others. Even though life can be chaotic, take a moment and think of others. And so I hope that you'll join us tonight on Talking Tuesdays. Lori, thanks for putting that together and allowing me to be on there. I'm looking forward to that tonight. And for anybody watching, just chime in, check in with yourself. There is a lot of fear out there. Fear is sold in abundance in this world. And you can engage with it and feed that, or you could choose to live your life regardless of it. Like, it'll always be present. That won't change. But what you do with it can change. So you got a moment to kind of figure out, what do I want to do with this? How do I want to respond and do that? A little bit of a soapbox message today, but I hope it's helpful. Comment below. What are your thoughts around this? How do you stay grounded in the face of chaos? And that would be great to hear from you on that. So I'll talk to you in the next video. You guys create an amazing day. Go out there and do something good for another human today. I'm going to take a moment and do that this morning. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.